40 years trying to keep Kenya safe. So, a daughter to the CDF officer, Lona Omondi, has also placed her condolences on her Twitter over here. Raila Odinga in his Twitter has also said that a terrible day for Kenyan. He says that my wife Ida and I are deeply saddened and are profoundly shocked by the passing of General Francis Ogola, the Chief of Defense. So Raila Odinga has also sent his condolences to the public following the death of the Chief of Defense, Honorable Ogola, as has been shown over here. So you remember previously when the appointment of the Chief General Officer, Defense Department, was accrued in a few days back there, whereby several officers that were said to be powerful across the country, ladies and gentlemen, chipped in for the sensation, deciding that it's Chief Francis Ogola who would be best in that area. So powerful individuals who helped in appointment of CDF included Aden Duale, Defense CS. So Aden Duale, the National Security Council, is among the government organs entrusted the help in making a decision about the appointment of Chief of Defense Force, CDF. So the officer domiciled in the office of the President. The council was established under Article 240 of the Constitution, where the Parliament was mandated to create and enact the National Security Council Act of 2022. So in the current administration, the council membership consisted of President William Ruto, which has all his meetings, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale, his counterparts in foreign affairs, Musalia Mudavadi and Kithure Kindiki of internal security. So these are members, those that actually decided after sitting down at a table, and so that General Francis Ogola would fit the position of the CDF of the nation. So members including Attorney General Justin Muturi, the Chief of Defense, National Intelligence Service Director General Nordin Haji, and Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome are some members who actually got to the session when the late was being appointed. So the mandate of the Security Council, as per the Act, comprise reviewing and making of recommendations on policies of matter relating to national security, receiving reports from the security organs on the implementation of the Council's policy directives, and identifying the developing strategies of enabling the security organs to respond to international and external threats of the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity. So the qualifications that the late general, after checking across those would actually comply all to fit those areas, it was found the best. Unfortunately, in the few days' time, he has made way. So the council can also advise the president on the declaration of a state of emergency and conduct an annual review of the internal, foreign and defense priorities relating to the national security of the republic right away, ladies and gentlemen, because this is something that's just chipped in with an instance when nobody was aware. So quarterly meetings are also to be held. Remember, these quarterly meetings have been done across the country, ladies and gentlemen, and that mostly they check on the act of the constitution, that is. Like the act says that the council must meet at least 4 times in every financial year, and not more than 4 months should elapse between the date of one meeting and the date of the next meeting. At least 1 month. So this is according to a general, who is the lead. So quarterly meetings as well, President Ruto may convene a special meeting of council where it is expedient for the transaction of his business. So the business of these meetings particularly always are dealt with in support of the strongholds of the defense force. So they always held most oftenly at least at an elapse of at least 1 month, so that reviews can be made where necessary, ladies and gentlemen. So any meetings of the council, just as has been said before, this must be dealt with by the most senior-most parties, CSs, across different departments. So the effective discharge, it's the constitutional mandate. That's where the issue is. What does the constitution say? Immediately, like now, the General Francis Ogola has left abruptly. Who is to take charge? Because the opponents would actually, this banditry that that General Ogola was going for may actually accrue, and many Kenyans can find it not easy. That's why it's of great obligation that the state should have those quarterly meetings very, very fast. So the act allows the council to create committees. These committees will be, according to the act of the constitution, the committees will be held upon, particularly, just as I've said, the senior-most members of the public, the CSs, should sit and decide who is to take charge with an instancy before the state gets to a stumbling block. These bottlenecks are always chipping in when the state has not taken its consideration. You never know, I'm not saying, but I'm just a TV presenter over here. Maybe it was a plan that was plotted. You never know. And the opponents are also there. They're watching, and they know the part that was being that was played by the general on Monday, Ogola. So that's why I say the act allows the council to create committees and also to co-opt other persons whose presence are also valid. Like the participation can be there, knowledge or skills can also be checked, and necessary for a proper performance of its functions can as well be checked upon. So, ladies and gentlemen, on page number 2 is still about the General Omonde Ogola, whereby the functions of the council are conducted in total confidentiality, as no member of staff of the council that can disclose any information relating to its operation without writing consent of council. So when the consent of council shall have been made, and that the members have decided exactly who is to take charge with an instancy, then this person must be somebody who is independent, such that what has been decided in these meetings that are done quarterly are not into the public domain. So those are some of the issues that are being addressed by the Act according to the Kenyan Constitution 2010. That has also been addressed over there, and it has a lot of concern. Ladies and gentlemen, on the page number 3 of the Daily Nation is that the nation mourns a gallant general. So you can see from that page, there's a picture that shows general undertaking his body preparation that first day after the bodies were brought from the scene. You can check and see that bodies of Kenya Defence Force officer involved in the helicopter crash in Elgeyo Marakwet arrive at Embakasi Air Base in Nairobi yesterday night. So at night, the body that was said to be burnt beyond recognition was thereby collected and brought to Embakasi Air Base in Nairobi yesterday. So sad, ladies and gentlemen, so sad, so sad. Chief of Defense Force General Francis Omonde Ogola and 9 other military officers died after a helicopter crash in Elgeyo Marakwet. This has also been addressed on the same page here. Today, it's just about the issue about the crash. Okay, let's see on page number 4 of the People Daily. We are told that how Ruto gave Ogola Chief Defense Force post as allies opposed. Now, allies opposed this one. A number of people out there, those that were not of the same opinion, said no, General Ogola shouldn't be given this. But now in the public, you can as well see on that same page where His Excellency William Samoei Ruto is giving Ogola allies. We are told that the president said he appointed the general again as his team's wisest, despite the soldiers' bid to overthrow his August 2022 poll winner. Okay, so we are told that the late Chief of Defense Force General Francis Ogola hit the headlines after former Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati disclosed that he attempted to force him to declare Azimio la Umoja candidate Raila Odinga as the winner of 2022 general election, or force Ariran. Okay. So we are told in this way that prior polls of 2022, ladies and gentlemen, the CDF Ogola Omonde went to the IEBC chair, Wafula Chebukati, trying to force him to declare Honorable Raila Odinga for that position of the president. And in return, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto says that this is the person who tried to actually overthrow my audacity. I'm giving him the chance now to get with us and work with us. Unfortunately, before time goes by, General has gone. So while referring to the scenario, President William Ruto in May last year, during a media interview, revealed how he appointed General Ogola against the wishes of close allies. So many people out there, the close allies of Mr. President, said no. You see, Honorable Ogola was to overthrow you out of your bid of presidency 2022. Now, don't give him that position. He will still do something that is crazy against your expectation within. So, Samoei Ruto, the president, saying, no, let's give him chance. And he was given the position of the CDF. Now, Ruto said that Ruto said he was under pressure from his loyalists not to appoint Ogola because he had walked to Bomas of Kenya to try and overthrow his win after the elections. So that was the allegation that was given to the president against the appointment of CDF Ogola Omonde, that he was left to the public in Bomas of Kenya trying to overthrow the victory of His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. So during the televised interview, Ruto said that he exercised magnanimity of leadership in the appointment of Ogola, despite the expectation of the people across the country, particularly those that were close to the president. So the commander-in-chief said he's ignored calls from his inner circle, not to reward Ogola, but he remained steadfast with his resolve to appoint him, owing him experience to insecurity matters. So, security matters. I began by saying, for if somebody is to be given a position in most of the governmental offices, like the ones that are so sensitive, prior I said that education, health, and security becomes one of the most important areas that should be given the first priority within the country. And that the president, when was appointing the CDF general on Monday, he says that according to his experience in the country and the experience that CDF officer general had was standardized. So he gave him that position because he thought he was the best, of which he has been doing his best in control of banditry and other insecurity issues across the country without any complaints. Unfortunately, he is grieving with the Kenyans on the same, having lost the person who was so competent in his job. So about the overturn of victory, you see, it's normal, and this is political, ladies and gentlemen. Like for if somebody chips in, everybody during politics session, they have this investigating thoughts. Somebody thinks his way, another one thinks his way. Even if the general went to the Bomas of Kenya to overthrow the victory of His Excellency William Samoei Ruto against the polls of 2022, now the president says that was a push from his ally Raila Odinga. Let's see what's over here. So General Ogola was among the people who tried to overturn my victory at Bomas. But when I looked at his CV, he was the best person to be the general. I called Mr. Ogola, sat him down, and told him, my friend, you went to Bomas to try and overturn my victory. But because you are the best person to the general, I'm going to give you the job, Ruto said in his own words. Now he went on, that's how it works for me. If the person has the qualifications, he's the best for the job, I give him the job. I couldn't have appointed, I could have not appointed any other person if you fit for this. Now Dr. Ruto says that. He also continues saying, I had over 10 choices. There are people who say, I appointed Ogola because he was the deputy chief defense officer. No, that is not the case. I made the decision myself. So that is what the president is saying. Okay, so ill-fated chopper. Now, this is where the root of the cause of the accident that was observed yesterday came to be, as stipulated on page number 4 of the People Daily. Let's see how this ill-fated chopper came to crash down. So we are told that confirming the incident to the media, Elgeyo Marakwet Police Commander Peter Mulinge said that 3 survivors of the ill-fated chopper were airlifted from the scene of crash by another KDF aircraft. So it means that maybe by the point of verdict here, when the crash had not been realized a few minutes later, then the pilot was aware. Then the message was conveyed. Some used the lift crafts and jumped out of the plane. And the 3 of them were succeeded. We are told that the 3 of them survived. So the police commander said that the scene was the tragic crash was cordoned off pending investigation by KDF personnel to establish the cause of the incident. Now, this one is now beyond normality, because how did it happen for the first time? That's according to, for me, not on behalf of the BTV Kenya Limited, Kenya, ladies and gentlemen out there, but for my own verdict. The message was conveyed. A few members decided, after knowing what was to happen, they got out of track. Others were left, and before the explanation goes, the commander says investigation is going to be done to undertake what was happening. So that is according to the police commander, one-on-one. So hundreds of residents were also barred from accessing the scene. So many people who ran to actually see the tragedy were blocked from reaching that place. A team of police officers drawn from administration and regular police, backed by the General Service Unit, backed the KDF officers. All right, so that has also been told there. For more and more information, ladies and gentlemen, get your Daily People magazine or newspaper and see what would have happened or what happened yesterday according to the tragedy that was here. Let me get to the first segment of the issue about this accident was realized yesterday on the crash and this administrative engagement. How is it that, how was the CDF General Ogolla engaged in his office? That has also been shown on page number 4 of the Daily People, whereby General Ogolla ascended the helm of the Kenyan military after taking the oath of office as State House, Nairobi, on April 29 last year, succeeding General Kibochi, whose term had ended. So General Ogolla succeeded Kibochi General, having his term ended. And we are told that that was done in April 29th. So in April 29, 2024, is very few days. Very few days. Very, very few. Kibochi termed Ogolla as a part of his strategic team that ensured the Kenyan Defense Force remains mission ready in responding to diverse operational and administrative engagement within the country. So Kibochi said that according to the CV that His Excellency Dr. Samoei Ruto also realized, is of great observation, and that Ogolla fitted that position. That's why he was also embarked by Kibochi, whom he succeeded in the position of the CDF, ladies and gentlemen. So as we continue, we're told that on his part, Ogolla hailed his procedure for his mentorship and called on the Kenya soldiers to embrace modern security strategies to tackle the evolving national and global threats as part of a commitment to the service. Now, before Ogolla got to the office, he called all the defense officers, sat with them, and decided new strategies that are digitally held across the country for the betterment of the country and the outside. Now, that's on his administrative engagement. As we continue downline, is that Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale hailed Ogolla, saying he had the requisite competency, training, and leadership skills to take the military to higher and higher heights, regionally and globally. So the skills that Ogolla had was marvelous, so great, and could help a lot of other military officers. And this was embarked by the Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale on his talk one by 1, ladies and gentlemen. So Ogola as well, when you can look at the page of the page number 4, that big day when Ogola was succeeding Kebochi, all the stakeholders in the Department of Defense got to the place, and there's a Tara parade that is here. We are told that General Francis Ogola, when he presided over the final parade rehearsals for Madaraka Day celebration held in Embu on the 31st day of 2023, ladies and gentlemen. That has also been addressed on the same page about the administration of Defense Force Ogola one-on-one. Today, ladies and gentlemen, apart from the plane crash, I'm going to just close that chapter. I see what's next on this second page. Later on, I will just have it get to the hold of the day. So when we continue, the KDF officers have chipped in, sending their storm of condolences across the country. A number of them here. Muranga MCAs also here. So at the press, military chief's last public function is also shown here, whereby we are told that the fallen chief of defense forces, General Francis Ogola, during forces physical readiness test at the Ulinzi Sports Complex, Langata, on 16th April 2023. So this has also been addressed over here. We are told the departed Chief of Defense Force General Francis Ogola was last seen in public on Wednesday at the Bomas of Kenya, where he had accompanied President William Ruto to preside over the closure of the third National Wage Bill Conference in 2024 on Wednesday. That's just a day before today. So that's when General was seen in the public. Later on, we also hear that photos shared on Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua Facebook account showed him in animated conversation with the second in command and the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, as they waited to welcome the president. So he was in his job bid and was ready to welcome the president from that day's exercise, ladies and gentlemen. All these are shown on page number 5. So number 5 hereby is that on Tuesday, the Chief of Defense Forces at the Ulinzi Sports Complex, Langata, Nairobi, where he led officers during the Defense Forces Physical Readiness Test, that is a DFPRT. So he was also seen there, also undertaking the exercise where the Assistant Chief of Defense Forces Personnel and Logistic Major General David Kater was also present. So General Officer Commander Border Security Commander Major General John Nkoimo was also present on that particular day in the wait of His Excellency the President. So Director of Medical Service Major General John Nganga, Commander Defense Headquarters Camp Admin Unit Brigadier Willie Wesonga, among other seniors were also present in that same scene. So we are told that DFPRT is an annual exercise conducted across KDF in line with the Defense Force Standing Instructional number 3 of 2021. The aim is to test the soldiers' physical fitness. Most of the times you see them act, and as I said prior, this act that they are creating most often, particularly after an elapse of a month, they do it to get the officers fit. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you can look at the most of the cabinet or the seniors officers in Defense Force are people who are body built, and you look at them physically, you may think that they cannot run at 500 meters per second. Try imagining that. So this is an exercise that is always carried out to maintain their physical fitness, ladies and gentlemen. And to finish with, just in the short while, I want to see on areas that have also been addressed here on the same page. But before I quit that platform, personally and on behalf of the BTV Kenya, your home live TV, among Kenyans that have sent their condolences, we say sorry to the country. And that is the end of the session on discussion of the General Francis Omondi. Now to finish with on page here is about John Moi. So John Moi, you remember what happened the previous day, where June May passed on, and her burial was to be done. So we are told that June Moi laid to rest as Azimio hits out at Ruto's Kenya Kwanza. So on the burial, opposition leader tear into government, accusing it of having misplaced priorities and being power hungry. Okay, so politics took center stage at June Jabet Moi, the last born daughter of Kenyan's second president, the late Daniel Moi, yesterday laid to rest at her Bahati home in Nakuru County. So the funeral service was held at the late patriarch's home in Kabarak, Rongai, and attended by senior political leaders from Azimio coalition, led by former Vice President and Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka. Other leaders present included KANU chairperson Gideon Moi, former Chief Justice Emeritus David Muraga, a former Defense CS Eugene Wamalwa, Senator, and members of Parliament. So speaking during the service, Kalonzo eulogized June as a humble daughter who respected other members of the society despite hailing from a prominent family. From his own words, he says that she was a very charming president's daughter. She was so cheerful. She never gave the impression that she is overbearing because she was the president's daughter, Kalonzo said. So Kalonzo tore into the national government led by President Ruto, accusing it of misplacement of priorities and what he termed as being power hungry. So June has left us the age of cliff politically, economically, and socially. So I hear some people in the current leadership talk of extending the presidential term limit. I get shocked, he said. So I think this is just a brief on the presidential term limit that was created prior by His Excellency William Samoei Ruto on behalf of the current government, Kenya Kwanza. So that has also been touched there by the members of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, and about the death and burial of June, the president, second president's daughter, marks the end of our today's newspaper review. Call me Ocheng Geoffrey Onyango. Welcome and have the best of all days today on BTV Kenya, your home live TV. Goodbye.